A premeditated attack on police. You know, I hear a lot of people say things like, go outside and touch grass. And when you do, you'll see that life is actually totally fine. You can go hang out, go to the grocery store, buy some milk, bread, and eggs. What are you really worried about? Nothing bad is happening. And then you go to the grocery store and you find that your milk, bread, and eggs all cost like $30 between them. And you're going, why are prices so high? You don't really know or pay attention. Then one day there's a shooting. Some guy you watch on the internet periodically is now dead, killed by somebody else. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk, of course. I'm not trying to be dismissive or derisive. The point I'm making is that for the average person who doesn't pay attention to these things, they are affected, and they don't know why. And the meme that I think really exemplifies this was during the Israel-Iran war, the 12-day war, Trump calls it. All of these planes are avoiding the airspace over between Iran and Israel, except for one, I think it was an Emirates flight or something like that. And the meme, they took a picture of it showing the plane flying straight over Iran. And they wrote, I deleted all my social media, and honestly, my mental health has never been better. So it is a struggle and a challenge every day. As I'm going through the news, as I'm seeing the arguments and seeing what's going on, seeing the reaction from Trump, seeing the reaction from prominent personalities, and then I see a story like this, and I'm just like, at what point do we need to actually shut it off and get the F out? You comment and let me know. Honest question. There's a period in every revolution, civil war or otherwise, when people basically just say, it's time to leave. I've had this conversation with many people, and last night I was talking about on Timcast IRL, probably something I shouldn't talk about, but whatever. I wear my thoughts on my sleeve, you know. I will not be returning to Chicago anytime soon. Normally we go for the holidays. It's where I'm from, but I won't go there because in 2012, police tried planting drugs in my vehicle with my associates. We assume for the purpose of putting us in prison for several years because of mandatory minimum laws in Illinois. And it's not an exaggeration. It's not a joke. It's not paranoia. It's a fact. This actually happened. Let me pull it up for you. Live streamers, gunpoint, NBC. Because I pulled it up. Here you go. You can investigate the story a little bit more, but I'm not making this up. Independent journalist detained at gunpoint by CPD. Live streamer Tim Pool, blah, blah, blah. It's a long and it's a crazy story. Let me give you a little bit of this context on the story that I highlighted for this segment first, and I'll talk a bit about what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. All hell broke out in Boston as police cruiser torched in premeditated attack on cops. The president of Boston's Police Patrolmen's Association has responded after a violent mob of over 100 people unleashed chaos in Boston streets, torching a police cruiser and pelting officers with fireworks cones and poles in what witnesses called a riot-like assault on law enforcement. Here's video.
A Boston police cruiser repeatedly hit with fireworks and set on fire. Investigators say dozens of people were involved overnight in what they're calling a targeted attack. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken McLeod. Tonight, 2 people are in custody. And as WBZ's Paul Burton shows us, this wasn't the only incident locally involving a large crowd attacking officers.
Mob of people here, like screaming, banging on the cop cars.
Chaos erupts and people scatter in the streets of Boston as a police cruiser was destroyed by fireworks in what police described as a large-scale vehicle takeover early Sunday morning.
Definitely unsettling to wake up in the middle of the night and see a cop car on fire outside your window.
These BU students took this cell phone video. They live in the apartment above Mass Ave and Tremont Street.
I just saw the cop car on fire, and then stuff was blowing up while they were putting it out.
Police say shortly after 2
notice how
a.m.
they're
they
laughing?
responded to reports of people gathered in cars to take part in illegal street racing and tricks.
You notice those young women were like laughing about it? It's funny. We deserve it. And I'm sorry. I know it's really callous to say, but deserve doesn't mean what I mean to say is we as a society for too long have tolerated lawlessness. These groups that are attacking law enforcement, they have no respect for police. This is a direct result of the BLM riot culture where cops backed off and were scared. And society told police they couldn't enforce the law. Now people are getting a taste of it. We are not yet at the point where people are truly going to fear what goes on outside. Now, to be honest, I left the cities a long time ago. So when I talk about getting out, we're already out. We're in a, very secure location. We are armed. And it's because of things like this. I am witnessing, you are witnessing, I am commenting on. In Chicago, they completely disregard law enforcement authority. Don't care. In Boston, these aren't politically motivated attacks. These are people setting fire to a police cruiser and attacking cops because they know the police can do nothing. That's where we're currently at. There is no belief that the government actually can use force to stop violence. The next thing that's going to happen is the police are going to get out of their vehicles and start unloading on some people. Now, I don't know about anytime soon, but we already saw DHS get rammed and then shoot some woman several times. They arrested her. She's in custody. Here's more of the video.
Officers approached the scene. They were met by a group, a pretty large group, over 100 people. And some of the individuals in the group started to throw cones, poles, and other objects at the officers in the vehicle.
Police
And the
say
cops don't
cruiser
do
was
anything about it.
repeatedly hit with fireworks as officers got out to chase down the suspects. Boston Fire Department was able to extinguish the burning police cruiser, but it was a total loss.
Everybody started flocking in on the other side, taking videos, pictures. I saw somebody get arrested over here.
We got about 50 to 100, if not more people.
In Randolph, a similar incident took place early Sunday morning. Police say around 1:30, cars blocked off an intersection on North Main Street, and a crowd of out-of-control people jumped on the hood of a cruiser and began throwing fireworks. Right now, it's unclear if this is the same group of vandals.
It's under investigations, but these things, they go from town to, it's not a Boston thing, it's a nationwide thing.
Police did arrest two individuals in the Boston incident, an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old, both from Rhode Island.
The outside individuals who came into our city to cause disorder and brought dangerous illegal behavior here will be prosecuted.
Police are asking anyone with cell phone video who may have witnessed this to please share that information with them. The two individuals.
It's getting worse. It's escalating. Quote, they came with a plan to attack officers and they executed it. The mayhem began just after 2 a.m. when police responded to reports of illegal street racing only to be met with an all-out assault. One cruiser was set ablaze and left in ruins. The rampaging group didn't stop there, moving through 4 Boston communities and growing more aggressive at each stop before converging in the city's south end. This was premeditated. If you're coming to Boston to terrorize our city or assault our officers, you are not welcome here. This is not far left terror. This is barbarism. This is literally a group of people saying we can do whatever we want. And so I look at all of this. I look at the death threats, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the escalation of everything that's going on. And in all seriousness, there is a point where I cannot do this. To be fair, I can do this. The issue, however, is always going to be Timcast IRL, which requires a substantial support base to function. It's a show with multiple people and camera switching, production, guests, booking. There's a lot that goes into it. Me reading news articles and talking about what I think about them, very easy and can be done from anywhere. Looking at these things and looking at the threat that we are all facing as social order completely breaks down across the country. And again, I got to stress, I'm done having this conversation with people who are like, I go outside and everything's fine and everything's normal. That's always every scenario and every social collapse. People seem to think that when war happens, neighbor is fighting neighbor. Like, no, not even in the Civil War. Okay. Most cities didn't see a lick of fighting at all. Most places didn't. There were some that saw very brutal fighting for sure. But we're looking at right now social disarray, social breakdown. Over 100 people attacking cops simply because they can. I know someone's going to make an allusion to the fall of the Roman Republic or the Roman Empire. These groups just do whatever they want. No one's going to stop them. Only a couple of guys get arrested. The government won't embolden the police. They won't strengthen the police departments. They won't be able to stop this. The political violence is escalating, and no one cares. I was, let me see. I'll just pull this one up while we're at it. I'm always arguing with Jess Margera from CKY because I don't know. It's kind of funny to argue with him. But this post here, it really does exemplify why I am pessimistic on everything that's going on with this country. He says, he quote tweeted Eric Trump saying that Letitia James is a felon. And he says, for the MAGAs that won't understand why this is funny, and then he mentions that Trump is a felon. Now, Jess doesn't actually care about what's going on. He won't actually read into any of these things. And I asked him to. I said, what was the underlying crime? Something about effing a porn star while his wife is at home. I told him he's in a cult. If you can't answer the question, just read the news. Ultimately, it comes to me saying outright, it's not even so much that I'm responding to him, just making the statement in general, perhaps even saying it to myself. Let me read this for you. The controversy over Trump's New York conviction is that it represents an unprecedented use of the state's falsifying business record statute. Traditionally, prosecutors must clearly identify and prove the other crime that elevates the charge from a misdemeanor to a felony. In Trump's case, however, the prosecution argued he falsified records to conceal some underlying crime, likely related to election law, but never required the jury to unanimously decide which one. This marked the first time in U.S. history a felony conviction rested on an unspecified secondary offense. Without that unspecified offense, Trump is not guilty. No crime was committed. This was the first time in U.S. history a prosecutor said, we can charge you for a felony charge that says you committed some other crime some point somewhere we don't know. That's it. I mean, it's over. This was the front runner for the presidency. Critics say it breaks from fundamental due process since the defendant normally must know the exact crime they're accused of concealing. This is constitutional law. The right to confront your accusers, the right to a jury trial. Supporters claim they only need proof of intent to hide a crime. Yes, you still need to prove a crime happened. So here I am this morning and I'm looking at everything and I'm just like, guys, seeing a story where a barbarian mob just blows up a police cruiser because they can and rampages through several other neighborhoods, social order is gone. In Chicago, just the other day, DHS were rammed by illegal immigrants. These are foreign criminals in our country who attacked our cops. Locals surrounded the police and began lobbing rocks. And I say locals, many of them are probably illegal immigrants. All of this is breaking down. Charlie Kirk is murdered. The left celebrates it. There will come a time where you must ask the question, will your family be safe? Now, for most of you, as I already mentioned, with every Civil War period, every revolution or whatever, most of you will see absolutely nothing. Seriously, nothing. Only 3% of people in the United States fought in the Revolutionary War. That's the estimate they give. 3%. In the Egyptian Revolution, the video I showed on this channel, people were largely going about their business, and then all of a sudden one day the government was different. They're like, I don't know. But there are many people deeply involved in politics who are already having those conversations, and I guarantee you all members of Congress have, talking about at what point they're going to grab their family and flee. I'm not joking. It's not hyperbole or an exaggeration. We have Raven Rock and Mount Weather nearby where we live for a reason because members of Congress, senators, and other politicians, they go to hide there when all hell breaks loose. Now, I don't know ultimately where this ends up, but you live in a place like Boston and you will hide because a group of barbarians will start rampaging through your neighborhoods and the police will do nothing about it. Illegal immigrants, people who are not of this country, don't pay taxes, who are breaking our laws, or human traffickers like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, will be protected and defended by leftists. So what do you do? There will come a point where we can't do Timcast IRL anymore. And we've already had discussions about what it looks like based on the threats of death we've received. I mean, look, the DOJ arrested a guy threatening to kill Benny Johnson. We've been in direct contact with the FBI because the threats are escalating. They're getting serious. I mean, they've been serious, but more serious now. At what point is it literally going to just be Someone's going to go. I mean, look, Charlie Kirk's dead. They killed him. And people ask me what I mean by they. I mean people of the mainstream Democrat political ideology. Charlie Kirk's assassin, alleged assassin, based on what we know, had the same ideology as AOC. Just liberal. She went on the floor and she said the same things. He spread hate. This is getting crazy. I know it. You know it. So how much longer can this country withstand? It's always gradually and then suddenly. When we see stories like this, you don't know at what point order just breaks down. DHS, ICE, CBP, these people in places like Chicago, California, Oregon, don't respect or even fear them. They don't care. Sooner or later, you are going to see armed groups outright say, we don't care who you claim to be with. And that's the analogy I gave about clowns showing up at your door, so that you understand what these people are feeling. When they see ICE walk up to them, they say, you may as well be a clown for all I care. So where does this go, man? More to come. Smash the like button, share the show, stay tuned. We got more segments coming up for you in a little bit, and we'll see you on the next segment.